Hello everybody, today back with another video. Alright, my tennis fans all around the world. Today's video is going to be about a topic that I have wanted to talk about long time ago, but it has always come something else, and I really have not done a video about this topic, because when I do videos, I want to do videos that has not been done before, videos that thinks new topics, interesting topics, and this is one topic that I want to talk about. And exactly like the title is saying, who is the most honest from the big three, Nadal, Djokovic and Federer? I have my opinion. Let's see if you guys agree or not agree. I at least will give my opinion. Let's talk about who is the least honest from these three first. I am convinced about this, that this guy I'm going to talk about, he's definitely the least honest. And the least honest from these three is definitely Roger Federer. I love Roger Federer's tennis style. You know that by now, my tennis fans all around the world. I love his ultra aggressive tennis style, his shot making skills. I just find his tennis style, without any shadow of a doubt, out of these three, the most enjoyable, because he goes for winners. He tries to win matches by going for winners, by pulling the trigger, by just taking it to his opponents, by doing a bunch of winners. He goes to the net, he slices, he does a lot of aces, etc, etc, etc. He's a great shot maker. By far the biggest shot maker out of these three, Roger Federer. But that doesn't mean that I will close my eyes for his dishonest. And when I say dishonest, especially when it comes to Federer, when I followed his career, when he got interviewed over the years, he was not honest many times during his career, especially when he was analyzing tennis matches. My dear God, I've heard him talk about a lot of bullshit when it comes to tennis matches, when he was losing, and he almost never criticized himself. Never. He could never say, I did a bad match. It was just really, I was really flat out there. I did a crazy amount of unforced errors. This many unforced errors, you cannot win tennis matches. You almost never hear him say things like that, especially in his younger years. He started to do that a little more when he became 33, 34, 35, 36, 37 years old in his older days. But when he was in his mid-20s, Federer, he thought he was a kind of a perfect tennis player who could never do bad tennis matches. And when he lost, he never criticized himself. Instead, he was always giving credit to his opponents and saying, I lost because he played good, he played great, I didn't do any bad things. It was up to him, it was not up to me. And I've seen him do over 70, 80 unforced errors in matches, and he was really an unforced error machine on the court. And despite that, he was saying he didn't play that bad. So this is what bothers me the most with Federer when it comes to him. He never analyzed tennis matches in a proper way. He almost never was criticizing himself, especially in his mid-20s. You can never hear that. And it was matches that he was a disaster. He was an unforced error machine, but he still didn't criticize himself. He still never said, I did a lot of unforced errors. With this many amount of unforced errors, you cannot win tennis matches. He never said things like that, almost never in his mid-20s. He started to do that more when he was over 30 years old. So out of these three, Roger Federer is the player who lies the most, without any shadow of a doubt. No. So now, who is the most honest between Djokovic and Nadal? Who is on the second place? On the third place, who lies most here is Federer. Who is on the second place? On the second place, for me, it is Nadal. Nadal, he analyzes matches much better than Federer, without any shadow of a doubt. He's not a Federer. He doesn't pretend that he's played good when he has been a disaster. No. Another thing I forgot to add about Federer. Thanks God, I remembered it. Federer, he was lying when he was facing opponents, especially Nadal, especially in all those French Open meetings, when he was facing him and when he was getting questions about from reporters. How do you feel about facing Nadal? I really look forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. He never said, no, I don't want to face Nadal. I'm not stupid. I want to face an easier opponent. With easier opponent, the life will become much easier for me. No. It was never. Federer was not. You could never hear Federer say things like that. It was always, I'm looking forward to face Nadal. I'm looking forward to face Djokovic. He wanted as hard, as murderous, as difficult opponents as possible. And he believed that we, tennis fans around the world, are stupid to believe his words. Oh, dear God. No, Federer, we are not stupid. You maybe believe that we are, but we are not. Not me, and not the tennis lovers around the world either. So, of course, it was lying. So, Federer, you cannot hear him give many honest interviews. You really cannot, right? So, when it comes to interviews, analyzing tennis matches, who preferring meeting, it was 95% that Federer gave those interviews, it was lies. Now we come to Nadal. Nadal is much more honest than Federer. Nadal is on second place. You know by now who is the most honest here. Nadal is on a second place. Nadal, when it comes to analyzing matches, big props to him, big credit. He always was saying, if he did bad, he was just killing himself in the interviews. He was saying, I was a disaster. I didn't deserve to win this match. His opponent. He gave his opponent credit as well. Yeah, he did. I remember the match against Federer in 2009 French Open when Federer took out Nadal, one of the biggest upsets in the tennis history, according to me. And Federer did one of his best tennis matches in his life, if not his best tennis match of his life. And Nadal was giving him credit. He said he played good, absolutely played really good. But I was short. I was short on the court. I remember Nadal saying that. And that was true. He was short. Because when Nadal tends to play bad and tends to not play his best, he gets short on the court. He just has too much net clearance, and players step into the court and just crush the ball. And that was what happened with Federer and Nadal in that 2009 French Open match, fourth round. Federer played absolutely like a beast, but Nadal was helping him also to play like a beast with a lot of short balls. And Nadal was saying exactly that. And that is the correct analysis. I saw the match. So when Nadal gives analysis of the match, I hear what he says, and I watch the match, and I can agree with him. So he's not lying in that department like Federer does. So Nadal is much more honest in analyzing matches, how he wins, and also, of course, how he loses. And another thing that Nadal is honest is he never pretends to like the challenge in facing tennis players, in facing GOATs like Djokovic and like Federer. Because, of course, Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal are the three greatest tennis players of all time. But, of course, not Djokovic is alone when it comes from these three. He is the greatest of all time, better than Nadal, better than Federer. But Nadal and Federer are for sure second and third place in the greatest tennis players of all time. Nadal, according to me, is in the second place. Federer is in the third place. I've done a video about this before. So, Nadal never pretends that he likes the challenge in facing beasts like Djokovic and like Federer in tennis matches, and he has said that. I've heard him say that. I've heard him say that with my own ears, and that I love with Nadal when he says that you are looking forward to facing Federer, you are looking forward to facing Djokovic. Absolutely not. I'm not stupid. Why should I look forward to facing them? I prefer other opponents. That makes my life much easier. But if they are on the other side of the net, then I will embrace the moment. Then he cannot do. He has nothing. He will not run away in facing them, but he definitely doesn't wish to face them, and he has been really honest about that throughout the years in his career. I've heard him say that myself. So Nadal is much more honest than Federer, definitely. So he's on second place. But the player who's most honest of all these three, you know it by now, it is of course Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic is the most honest from these three. He definitely, how can I call it? He doesn't pretend when he plays tennis, when he gets interviewed, what he wishes, what he wants. He doesn't pretend. Nadal is more honest than Federer in analyzing tennis matches, in saying who he wishes to face and not to face in tennis matches. But Nadal is not honest what his goals are. I've heard Nadal say many times, and even Federer, records are good. I want the record, but those are not the most important thing. I'm not playing tennis for the records. I've heard Federer say this. I've heard Federer say this a bunch. I'm not playing tennis for the record. Bullshit! This is so much bullshit. Of course they are playing tennis. Do you know who doesn't play tennis for the record? It is Monfils. It is David Ferrer. It is Joe Vitsona. It is Marin Cilic. It is Kei Nishikori. It is Milos Raonic. These guys are not playing tennis for the records because they know they don't have the chance to achieve the greatest records. But when you have become a legend, an icon, a beast like Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, and when you're winning this much of matches, which this much of tennis tournaments like these three have done, then of course you're going for the records. But Federer and Nadal, they never admit it. You know why? Because they just have that. They cannot be honest like Djokovic can. Djokovic, he doesn't have any problem in saying this. He says, I'm going to read it exactly what he said a couple of days ago. And I love this quote. I really loved it. When they asked him after his Paris title last week, Djokovic said exactly these words. I'm going for every possible record. All that I can achieve. I have never had a problem saying that. That's why people don't like me. I do not pretend, like some do, to say that's my goal and then behave differently afterwards. That was exactly Novak Djokovic's words after he won Paris last week. His 40th Master 1000 title. And do you know when he says, I do not pretend, like some do, to say that's my goal and then behave differently afterwards, do you know who he's sending this message to? It is Nadal. And to some extent Federer, but mostly Nadal. Because Nadal also said throughout the years, records are not my biggest goal. Most important thing for me is to be healthy, is to be happy on the court, and to try and enjoy myself. That is bullshit. That is not true. If that was true, for God's sakes, Nadal played he was playing with injections on his foot last year at French Open, which he admitted after he won the title. He said that I was playing with injection on my foot when I won French Open title last year, 2022. If that was not true, if Nadal didn't want all the possible records like Djokovic is wanting, He forgot to explain the US Open last year and had his wife days from giving birth to his child. Nadal, what did he do? He takes the flight over to Atlanta and went to New York and played the US Open despite his wife being high pregnant. So, how can we believe Nadal? How in hell can we believe Nadal when he says that records are not the most important thing for me? That is a lie. He has admitted, he has said that, yeah, I wish to have them. I will not lie about that, but they are not the most important thing for me. And I don't believe that for a dime, for a second. I really don't believe that. Djokovic, on the other hand, he says that openly. He has said it many years, especially the last 5 years. I'm going for the Grand Slam record. That is my goal. I'm going for the most weeks to world number one. I'm going for the most year ending as world number one. I'm going for all possible records. He even said that, which I didn't read here. He even said that, yeah, he got the question, are you going for the Connors record with 109 titles? Why not? I'm 12 behind now. So why not? I'm trying to achieve every possible record. And how I, me, as a tennis fan, a tennis lover, I really love this kind of response. I really love this kind of honesty. I really love it. Because he's not pretending like Nadal is doing. He's not pretending like Federer is doing. And that's why, when he said, and that's why people are not liking me. That is one of the reasons I don't think people are liking Djokovic. I believe some other things as well, like I said before, because he's from Serbia. He's not coming from a rich country like Nadal is doing and like Federer is doing. Another thing is that his tennis style is not, at least not like Federer's, because Federer has a shot-making tennis style. He has shot-making skills like Djokovic doesn't have. People tend to love a playing style like Federer. I'm one of them. But that doesn't mean I hate Djokovic. I'm not stupid like many other tennis fans around the world. So, if I could say 3 reasons why Djokovic is not liked, is one reason is he's honest. He says what he wants. He says what his goals are, and he doesn't have any problem with that. And many people around the world are not appreciating that, which I see it is really insane that why they are not doing. I'm definitely not one of them. I appreciate his honesty. Another thing is he doesn't have shot making skills like Federer has. I got a comment actually in my latest video when a subscriber, or I don't know if he's subscribed or not, and he said exactly that. It was a beautiful comment. Casual tennis fans are not understanding why Djokovic is this successful. They are confused. They are thinking, how in hell is he winning this much? Because when he plays tennis, Djokovic, he doesn't maybe look as fancy as Federer. He maybe doesn't do all the glory shots like Federer does. He doesn't do a bunch of winners like Federer does. And casual tennis fans are not understanding, because they don't understand tennis in depth, why Djokovic is winning, why Djokovic is, yes, he is the most complete tennis player of all time. He has the forehand, he has the backhand, he has the returns, he has the movement, he has shot tolerance, he has mentality, he has physicality, he has the whole package. And casual tennis fans are not quite understanding this, because he doesn't look effortless. He doesn't win tennis matches with a bunch of winners like Federer does, and that's one of the reasons why many tennis fans around the world are not liking him, at least not the casual tennis fans, because they are not understanding why he keeps on winning this much tennis matches. So those are the 3 reasons I believe they don't like Djokovic, many tennis fans around the world, because he's too honest, they think, and that they feel that with this honesty, that they feel that he's arrogant. I completely don't agree with that. They are not liking his tennis. They are not understanding why he wins so many tennis matches. That's the second. And the third is because he is from Serbia. That is definitely also a big reason. Anyway, Djokovic is the most honest from these 3. No question about that. He says what he says what his goals are. He's not pretending to say one thing and to behave differently like Nadal and like Federer do. So Djokovic is the most honest here, without any shadow of a doubt, in his interviews. And so even when it comes to tennis players, he says it openly. I wish that lower ranked players they to earn more money, he fights for them to earn more money. Look, so Djokovic, Nadal and Federer, I've not heard them. I've not, at least what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, I've not seen them fight for the lower ranked players for them to earn more money. Like Djokovic does. He has that PPA, or whatever they call it, so he is involved in that to make lower ranked players to earn more money, so they can live on their professional, so they can live on their sport, so which not many lower ranked players can do at the current moment. So Djokovic for me is definitely the most honest from these three, and I really love this latest quote, and I said to myself, I will do a video about this, even though I'm really busy. But I just couldn't not to do it. And I wish that athletes should be more honest with themselves, because we know we are not stupid. We tennis fans, we can feel, we can hear, we can see it when this athlete that we follow so much, when they are honest and when they are not honest. We are not stupid. So another thing that Djokovic, you can see it on the court that Djokovic is more honest than Nadal and more honest than Federer. How many times do you see Nadal and Federer applaud their opponents' good shots? You almost never see it. You almost never see Nadal and Federer doing that. Yeah, they can do it sometimes, extremely rare. Djokovic, he does it. He does it in almost every single match. When the opponent does a great shot, he applauds them. He said, good point, too good. Another thing is when he loses, he's much more, if you can say this, he's much bigger. He takes the losses much better than both Nadal and both Federer. Yeah, I've talked about this before. He watches his opponent on his eyes. He touches them on the chest. He gives everything on the court. Everything he has, he gives it all. But when the war is over, when the fight is over, and he has lost, he watches them in the eyes. He shakes their hands, and he touches them on the chest and congratulates them. Nadal and Federer, they never do that. They never do that. For God's sakes, they better look them in the eyes. Forget touching them on the chest. So, and we all remember what happened last week when Djokovic stopped his interview, and went to hug Grigor Dimitrov, who was completely devastated after losing the final. You never see Nadal and Federer doing something like that. So Djokovic, by far, he's the most honest on these three. By far, according to me. Federer is the least honest. I'm not saying that Djokovic is honest about everything. Of course, he lies also. Absolutely. I don't think that everything, for example, when they ask him, do you think that you are the greatest tennis player of all time? And he says, I will let them to others to judge. I will not answer that question. Of course he believes that he's the greatest of all time. Of course. But he doesn't want to. I can understand. He cannot be 100% honest about everything, because he will sound arrogant. But we know that he has the opinion that he is the greatest tennis player of all time, considering all the records that he has. So he's not 100% honest, of course, Djokovic. But compared with Nadal, compared with the Federer, he's much more honest than those two. Much more honest. So that's. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but this is definitely my opinion about who of these three is the most honest. Federer is the least honest on these three. Then comes Nadal, and on top of all of these three, who is the most honest? from these three, it is definitely Novak Djokovic. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give a thumbs up, subscribe, see you next time. Peace.